Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, to Allah alone do I submit and seek refuge in. It is He who is the revealer of all truths, the sender of all prophets, and the creator of all things. Surely I thank Allah for Moses and the Torah. I thank Him for Jesus and the Gospel. And I thank Him for Muhammad and the Holy Quran. Peace be upon all of the worthy servants of Allah. However long I'm blessed to live, I ask Allah to help me to remain faithful to Him and to the knowledge of His existence in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad, whom we refer to as the great Mahdi, or the self-guided one, who came and raised up our divine leader, our divine teacher, and our most perfect God, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, as you sit this morning at Mosque number 7, when we search the scriptures of the Bible and Holy Quran, we believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not only the messenger of God to us all, but we believe that he is the exalted Christ, the Messiah. We further believe that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the anointed, appointed, and spiritual representative of God, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, for black people, and of last mercy for every human being that's on the face of the planet Earth, if we understand. Yes. He is that man that is written of in the scriptures and referred to as the Son of Man. He is this one that you see today battling members of the synagogue of Satan, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. He is that man that is set in the midst of us today that's more than just a black freedom fighter. He is that man that is written at the base of Scripture, that he's charged to deal with America and all of her wickedness. I speak of none other than the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I greet all of you this morning, my beloved brothers and sisters here at Mosque number 7, once again with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum. We're so very happy that you're present with us this morning, and before we go any further, we bring you personal and direct greetings from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Assalamu alaikum.
Please return the greetings from the Abdul, sir.
Thank you, we shall. You may be seated. Brothers and sisters, good to be back in New York City. We had a wonderful time in Houston, Texas. Very wonderful time. I mean, I was wondering if they was going to let us get back on the plane and come back to New York City. It was such a good time down there, and by Allah's permission. We look forward to moving and going to other cities on behalf of the minister and those student ministers that are inviting us, as we have invited others whom we will soon have here. But now this morning, I want to go on to part 3 of our subject on black male-female relationships. And I know you may say, some of you who were here a few weeks ago, we did part 1. When did you do part 2? Part 2 was in Houston, Texas. And we'll make sure that that is available, God willing, if you choose to study from it. But it is a further bearing of witness of what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has given to you and me as direct guidance from God Himself on proper black, male, and female relationships. Now let's begin this morning. The first and primary relationship is with the Lord of creation.
Right.
That's first. Before any female knew a male, or any male knew a female, you knew God first, even if you didn't know to call on Him.
Right.
You first knew God through the breast of your mother. Then you knew God by calling your father Daddy, Father. Then you knew God through your parents, if you had both of them, nurturing you and caring for you. Right. Then you experienced God through the form of siblings, if there were those older or those younger. You experienced God's presence in His person through family members and friends. This is how we come to know God. Yes, then we go through joy, then we go through pain, then we go through happiness, and then we go through disappointment, and then we meet God in the spiritual realm. And we begin to learn Him of ourselves because of constant consistent disappointment in this world's life. So women flock to God in the church because they're looking for a better relationship, because apparently the relationship with man has not went right. Then they find a so-called godly inspired man who wants a piece of them rather than giving them the peace that God is calling the man of God to give to them. Did you hear what I said? Yes. And so then the downward spiral with a bad man happens all over again with the man who calls himself a man of God. Okay, we starting off a little heavy this morning. Everybody all right? Okay, now. Very good. All right. Because if we're going to promote positive relationships between the sexes, we have to understand what is the right relationship. Now, brothers, we are reared in a street culture that supersedes the church or the spiritual houses. Because when we come to the mosque, or we come to the church, or we come to a spiritual house, we are only as good as we are formed in the presence of the Lord. But outside of that presence, the conversation sinks or sinks below the navel. Everybody quiet. Something for you to think about. When we're in the houses of God, we look lofty. Everybody looks pristine. Everybody looks on point. But it's when we leave that the social reality sets in and Satan's charge on us becomes stronger. He's not interested in the person with the wine bottle. He already knows where they are. He's not interested with the person with the needle in their arm. He already knows where they are. He's not interested in the person with the crack vial or the ecstasy pill or those that are sniffing pine saw. Whatever it is that we do that drives us get high in this world. He's not interested in them. He has those persons. He's not interested in the person with the 3-inch dog, the white dog called a cigarette, or the reefer stick, or the party goer. He's interested in the righteous. He lies in wait for them, it says in the Bible. In the Quran, he lies in the Sirat al-Mustaqim, or the straight path. He wants the righteous to be taken off the path. And as Minister Farrakhan said something to us on Friday evening, as we had the pleasure to dine with him, and to sup with him, and to share, and to learn, and to give him feedback on what God inspires him to say on an instant where he's standing. Inspiration. He says that the devil likes to take the goodness of you and find a way to use it to his advantage. So he loves it when you're good, as long as you can be good for him in his world of evil. Now, brothers and sisters, we have a problem in relationships.
Yes, we do.
That we can't even stand against the wiles of Satan if we don't fix it. Strong families make for strong nation. We've been saying it for years. But if we don't get those who are single as a career to get off the bench, get out of the dugout, and step onto the field of life and desire the opposite of you to complement you, how are we going to have strong families to make a strong nation? If we can't keep those who are married in holy matrimony.
Yes.
Holy is that which has not been mixed, diluted, or tampered with in any shape, form, or fashion. But we are tampered people. We're born in sin, shaped in iniquity. If we can't get us to forgive one another and have a marriage without spot or blemish from that point on, how can strong family be strong nation?
That's right.
If we can't get those who've gone through divorce, 65% divorce rate in America. religious families joining the group. And today, 30 to 35% of Americans say, or 40%, they rather live a single life. I mean, that's a lot. When you were born to find your mate in this world. But I'd rather just be single. That's how bad relationships have become. But yet, strong family produces strong nation. And Minister Farrakhan said in a lecture of that sort, he says that we have to have strong family just to withstand the enemy's open attack on us. That the stronger our brotherhood is and our sisterhood is, that the stronger our children and the family fabric will be. Right. It's not strong when male and female know how to mate and procreate from their mating, whether you knew it or not, whether it was on purpose or it was oops, a mistake. But we're not there to keep that family unit strong. Now what about the young among us? What kind of family man are you going to be? Young men.
Yes, sir.
Young women, what kind of family women are you going to be? What kind of wife? What kind of husband? Are we even interested in that? Oh, you know, everybody won't get religious. I'm not even talking about having sex. Oh, stop it. You can't stop something that is naturally put in you by God. We need to control it, yes. We need to discipline it, yes. We don't need to be out of control. We don't need to be inordinate. But stop that. It's against your nature. That's why you can't find priests today who can fight against nature. It's their nature. So they hide and go get a woman. And others who don't get a woman, they get something that they're not supposed to touch. They're fighting against nature. Now, we're not telling you this for you to go and have an inordinate experience. See, you heard Brother Hafeez? It's nature. So you start talking to the sisters, it's nature. The sister talking to the brother, it's nature. Wrong! I'm not telling it to you for that. Right. But what we are saying, at some point in life, we should want to fulfill our natures properly. Yes, sir. In a relationship, in a married relationship. Christ is the bridegroom of the Lord. He's married to God. Go ahead. And he's married to his mission. Who are you married to? So brothers say, well, I'm married to the resurrection of the dead. Good. But you need a female to help you with that resurrection of the dead, because you need to be resurrected. All right? That's right. Yeah. All praise be to Allah. My wife been gone almost 10 days. Her and my daughter on a trip. I know what it means when it says it's not good that man should be alone. I guess that comes after 25 years of marriage, but my God. Somebody asked me, don't you feel good now that she's not there? I said, no, I don't. Quite frankly, I don't. You know, it feels good when you have a companion. But you need to have the right companion. Is that right? Okay. Now I want to read something from the Holy Quran to set the base of what we're going to talk about. This comes from the 42nd Surah of the Holy Quran, Al-Shura, the Council. It comes from section 4 of Maulana Muhammad Ali. And Allah says these words: and whatever misfortune befalls you, it is on account of what your hands have wrought, and he pardons much. And you cannot escape in the earth, and besides Allah you have no protector nor helper. And of his signs are the ships, like mountains on the sea. If he will, he stills the wind, so that they lie motionless on its back. Surely there are signs in this for every patient, grateful one. Or he causes them to perish for what they have earned, and he pardons much. And that those who dispute about our messages may know there is no refuge for them. So whatever you are given is but a provision of this world's life. And that which Allah has is better and more lasting for those who believe and rely on their Lord. And those who shun the great sins and indecencies, and whenever they are angry, they forgive. And those who respond to their Lord and keep up prayer, and whose affairs are indeed by counsel among themselves, and who spend out of what we have given them. And those who, when great wrong afflicts them, defend themselves. And when the recompense of evil is punishment like it, but whoever forgives and amends, his reward is with Allah. Surely he loves not the wrongdoers. And whoever defends himself after being oppressed, these it is against whom there is no way of blame. The way of blame is only against those who oppress men and revolt in the earth unjustly. For such there is a painful chastisement. And whoever is patient and forgives, that surely is an affair of great resolution. Now, I read those verses from the Quran because in order for us to fix black male-female relationships with our Creator and one to another, we have to first learn to forgive. And when you forgive, you forget. If you have not forgotten what you say you have forgiven a person for, then you have not forgiven them. If you say to one another, you know what, this situation reminds me of when you did such and such and so and so. I thought you forgave me for that. Yeah, but it comes back to my memory that you didn't forgive me. Because forget doesn't mean it's not there, but what it means is that you're not going to bring it back up when something similar comes on. Some comedian is saying something and you start looking at me funny. You see something on some TV program or some show and we're looking at each other and questioning one another. This is not a TV program. We don't live life according to what we were just viewing. Why are you bothering me with that? Well, you know, it re-stimulated what happened before. Then you have not forgiven me, and you should have never said you forgave me. You should have told me that the process of atonement was not yet complete. One, you point out the wrong or fault. Two, you acknowledge it. Three, you confess it. Four, you repent or show some kind of remorse. Five, atonement, which means to do something to correct the wrong. Then once we've done 1 through 5, it gives birth to number 6, forgiveness. And once you say I forgive, then number 7 comes into play. Reconciliation. What did it say in the Quran? Resolution. After forgiveness. Then once you've reconciled point number 7, then number 8 comes, as the minister has taught us from the Million Man March, a perfect union. Now, the first person you have to forgive is yourself. The Honorable Minister Farrakhan teaches us that none of us are good judges of ourselves. Allah judges every one of us. But yet for the righteous, He has a storehouse of forgiveness laid up for us. But since we don't know when it runs out, we need to be mindful. And put ourselves on the straight path of God. Healing the wounds in black male-female relationships means talking and teaching about those things that produce the wound in our lives. A wound is like an open sore. It's an open cut produced by some kind of object or some kind of abrasion. And the wound leads to pain in the nerves of the human body. The wound has to heal with an ugly scab, but beneath the ugly scab, healing is taking place, but we tend to pick at the scab. Mess with the scabs, because it doesn't look good. But when something is being repaired, it looks ugly on the outside to others. But something healing is taking place on the inside where it really counts. So when you're trying to heal your relationships, male to female, husband to wife, father to son, mother to daughter, vice versa, whatever it may be, Are you more concerned about what other people are thinking on the outside more than you are of what's going on the inside between you, that person, and your Lord? I'm concerned about how people look at me, how they view me. Wrong! How does God view you? How do you look at yourself? How do you reckon and deal with yourself when you look inside of the mirror? That's the question you have to ask. It's not about how you live with others, ultimately. It's how you live with yourself. And this is the reason why, brothers and sisters, even though when we're married, we still like to use the restroom or the bathroom by ourselves. I don't care if there's a double sink. You both in there doing what you got to do. You looking at one another. They're looking at you. You know what I'm saying? They're looking at you. They're looking at you. And therefore, you then are saying like, okay, what's up? What's up? Who's going to leave first? Because I need some me time. Really? Yes. We married, but we joined at the hip. We slept in the same bed. We slept on one. You got one side, I got the other side. We can switch sides if you want, but still, I got one side, you got the other side. So even when you're married, you're not joined at the hip. You're not co-joined or interlocked. Siamese twins. How do you take two and make it one? Always remember you're going to be individuals. See? God is going to communicate to both of us. We need that personal time with Allah. The reason we can't fix many things in the relationships we have with one another to make us stronger Muslims in the resurrection of the dead, to make us stronger Christians in the resurrection of the dead, Hebrews in the resurrection of the dead, because all of us need to be dealing with the spiritual and general resurrection of our people and the human being as a whole. Because all are suffering, but we still suffer the most. But we can't do that if you don't have an intimate relationship with God. We're always trying to have a warm-blooded relationship rather than a spiritual relationship. When you wake up and every time you go out to go to the store, you always have to have somebody with you. Huh? You ever notice that? When we were growing up, we always had to call up our friend. Well, what you doing? I'm going to go to the store. Good. What you want? I want you to go with me. You can't go by yourself. No, come on, let's go out to the store together. You find yourself, you can't do anything by yourself. You can't go to the movies by yourself. You can't ride the bike by yourself. You always got to have this particular sister, this particular brother, always. And then, you know, some of the people get attracted to one another. So it's good when you find someone who likes to do the same thing you do. They're just as inseparable from you as you are from them. But what you don't realize is both of you have a dependency on one another, and you're not depending on our God. So now when disappointment comes and you fall out with the whole world, then you fall in with the wrong crowd. Because we failed to develop an intimate relationship with God. Now look on the spiritual level among believing people. In the mosque and in the church. You come in saying you believe in Allah. You believe in all of the prophets. Muhammad is his messenger. Good. But we have warm-blooded relationships and not a spiritual one with the unseen power and the unseen being. We don't have a relationship with the power behind the flesh, but we only have one with the flesh that's carrying the real power or the real spirit. Then we fall out with one another, then we fall out with the rest of the mosque. The mosque ain't this and the church ain't that. They no good, they talk this stuff. Right. But you the very one, individual. You fell out with God. Because you only wanted a relationship with another human being, but you didn't want one with God the human. Who's unseen, yet seen and heard every day through our own existence. That's what I said. God the human. Where do you think we got our human existence from? If Allah doesn't have one. Right. Allah made the animals. He made the fish. He made the birds. Is Allah a bird? Is he a fish? Is he an animal? Where would he reside at to become the glory of creation, except in the human being who has control over the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, the fowl of the earth, where he told us to subdue it and put it under dominion and control. Replenish the earth, multiply ourselves. He resides here. He's not in this book more than he's in the human being. That's our problem. We believe more in these crazy books on romance rather than going to the Word of God. Rather than going to the servant of God, whom God raises to teach us on proper relationships. So we wonder why we're failing. You can be in the house with the right one, but if you don't follow what the right one teaches, you still can fall to the wayside. So we have Muslims who go through divorce. Yeah, we go through divorce. Yes, Muslims in the nation divorce. Sure, I don't want you to think you come to the nation of Islam, you don't come among people who divorce. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4. That does not make the truth incorrect. That does not mean this is not where you belong. That does not mean that this is not the right place at the right time. It is, because the coming of God is perfect. The gathering of his people is perfect. The raising up of a messenger is perfect. The message from that messenger is perfect. From their helper and student is perfect. But we must learn to perfect ourselves with the message and not become self-righteous, wearing the Quran and Bible on our breastplates. We don't wear it in our heart, our mind, our soul, our spirit, and every action of us as male and female. How can you come up as young Muslims, born in the nation, born in your house of God, but all you want to do is have sex? It's the only thing on your mind. You didn't grow up in the world. Yeah, you say, well, I grew up in the hood. Yeah, good, but the world wasn't in you like that. Unless the world was in your parents. Unless we were only posing as the righteous. Sometimes we do that. We act one way in the spiritual house. We act like Negroes at home. Using the B word, the N word, the MF, the SOB, the 7-letter word, all the time. Okay? Just negative language. So we're two persons. We're the one that comes out and gets dressed up, but when we undress and put on another kind of garment, we're another kind of person. Or you're a different kind of person just when you get in your vehicle. You ain't got to leave the block of the house. Just get in the vehicle. Take off the tie, whatever, take off whatever, you know, you're wearing. You switch. Once you pull that mirror down and pull it back up, man, you're a new person. Assalamu alaikum went out the door. What's that? As soon as you turn the corner, gates are leave. You go to the block. They don't know you came from the mosque. They don't know you went to no church today. You's a Muslim, really? The only place they know you as a Muslim is in the mosque. Outside of here, what? Some of us are married today. We're afraid to be married in the public. You don't want no one to know that's your wife. Come on, hurry up and get in the car. Hurry. Baby, why do we have tinted windows so nobody don't know that you know? If you got a ring, you take it off. Baby, how come you don't wear your ring? Oh, baby, you know, rings, just making my finger itch, you know. Gold just don't agree with me. Even though you can have the ring on and be as broken can be. Some have the rings on. Some women got on 2, 3 rings from the same husband, diamond out, but looking in another direction.
That's right.
Because he does something that my husband don't do.
Come on.
He says something my husband doesn't say. She does something that my wife don't do. She says something that my wife don't say.